Putin's wife, the richest woman in the world. Did you know that the richest woman in the world might not be someone you expect? Forget the usual suspects like billionaires in Silicon Valley. Putin's wife, yes, you heard that right, has amassed a fortune that could rival some of the wealthiest people on Earth. In today's video, we're uncovering the secretive life of Putin's wife, exploring the wealth, controversies, and astonishing influence she holds behind the scenes. A mysterious relationship. Imagine being married to one of the world's most powerful and controversial figures, yet keeping your identity and wealth hidden from the public eye. That's exactly what Vladimir Putin, now rumored to be no longer married to Vladimir Putin, but still tied to his empire, has managed to do. Her relationship with Putin was always shrouded in secrecy. They married in 1983, and despite their eventual divorce in 2014, much of her life remains enigmatic. What's even more jaw-dropping is how little is publicly known about her financial assets. For years, she appeared as the quintessential First Lady, polished, professional, and supportive of Putin's rise. But beneath that public image is a trail of assets, properties, and hidden investments that have quietly grown into a massive fortune. The mysterious fortune, tracing the wealth. Now, let's get into the real jaw-dropping stuff. How did she accumulate this enormous wealth? This is where it gets fascinating. Vladimir Putin has allegedly been linked to some of the largest and most lucrative business deals in Russia. These companies are involved in everything from oil and gas to real estate and banking. While the exact numbers remain unclear and likely hidden, some experts estimate her fortune could be worth billions. This is no ordinary wealth. It's money that's tied to the political currents of one of the world's most strategically positioned countries. But how do we even begin to untangle the mess of shell companies, offshore accounts, and private assets? Much of this wealth isn't listed directly under her name, but rather through companies that are notoriously difficult to trace. The role of Putin's political power. Let's take a step back for a moment. Putin's role as the president of Russia has been central to the way this fortune has been built. Imagine this: a country rich in natural resources like oil and gas, with control over some of the largest energy companies in the world, and a leader who has access to them all. Now, add a wife who, despite her low public profile, is tied to these very industries. This isn't a coincidence. Lyudmila's wealth didn't just materialize out of thin air. It's intricately linked to Putin's long tenure in power. As Putin consolidated his control over Russia's economy, many of his allies, including family members, indirectly benefited. And this isn't just speculation. It's an open secret in some business circles. So when people ask how she could possibly amass such a fortune, the answer is simple. In a system where power and wealth often intertwine, she's right there at the top. The enigmatic divorce. In 2014, Lyudmila and Putin announced their divorce after 30 years of marriage. But let's not kid ourselves. This wasn't your typical celebrity divorce. It was a strategic move, and while the world focused on the personal details, the financial implications were far more interesting. The split raised eyebrows, not because of personal reasons, but because of what it potentially meant for their wealth. Despite their divorce, Lyudmila reportedly retained substantial financial assets, and while much of her fortune is still tied to Putin's government, there's no denying that this was a part of a larger plan. What's curious is that, after the divorce, Lyudmila's name quietly faded from the headlines. They often shift into more strategic positions, and it's likely that Lyudmila remains a silent partner in various business ventures. So, while the world may think she's no longer in the picture, the truth is she could be pulling the strings from behind the scenes, raking in profits as quietly as ever. The hidden trusts and offshore accounts. When we talk about wealth, we also have to talk about how it's hidden. And when it comes to Putin's wife, the idea of secretive financial dealings isn't just a conspiracy, it's a reality. Lyudmila is reportedly linked to a network of offshore accounts and trusts in tax havens around the world. These accounts allow her to stash away a portion of her fortune outside of the Russian tax system. The benefit? She avoids paying taxes on some of her wealth while also keeping the full extent of her assets hidden from the public. And while this might sound like something straight out of a financial thriller, it's an open secret in global finance. But here's the twist. These financial maneuvers are not unique to Lyudmila. In fact, many wealthy individuals, especially those tied to powerful political figures, use similar methods to protect their wealth. For Lyudmila, these assets may not be listed directly under her name, but sources indicate that she's heavily involved in these arrangements, making her one of the richest women you've never heard of. Her children. It's not just about Lyudmila. There's another angle to this story that's equally intriguing. Her children. Many people forget that Lyudmila and Putin have 2 daughters, and their wealth is also rumored to be tied up in the family fortune. If these children stand to inherit even a fraction of the wealth controlled by their mother, we're talking about a generational legacy of unimaginable wealth. But as with everything connected to the Russian elite, details about their lives are scarce. The reality is these children have likely been groomed to inherit a fortune tied to Russia's wealthiest industries. Whether or not they will step into the public spotlight like their father is unknown, but if they do, the financial power they will wield could be extraordinary. Imagine being handed control over multi-billion-dollar industries before even finishing college. This is the kind of wealth that not only ensures a comfortable life but a life of power and influence that few will ever know. The political influence behind the fortune. Let's face it, in Russia, wealth is never just about the money. It's about power, influence, and access to the right people. The Putins are not just rich, they are part of an intricate network that controls much of Russia's wealth and political landscape. And Lyudmila, despite her low profile, is directly tied to this network. The companies and resources she's linked to have undoubtedly benefited from Putin's political decisions, creating a cycle of wealth that goes far beyond simple investments. What's often overlooked in these discussions is the role that political power plays in wealth accumulation. The more influence you have in a government, the more access you have to lucrative contracts and opportunities. Lyudmila's connection to this system means she's not just a bystander. She's an active player in a much larger game, where money, politics, and power collide in ways most of us can't even imagine. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that the story of Putin's wife is not just one of wealth, it's one of power. The quiet accumulation of wealth, the hidden financial structures, and the political influence behind it all show that sometimes the richest people aren't the loudest ones. Lyudmila may not be on the front pages, but her fortune speaks volumes. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. After all, the world of politics and power is more intertwined with wealth than most people realize, and you don't want to miss out on understanding how it all works.